Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am Yakshi Malhotra, the founder of the Knit Academy. I'm so excited to have you here with me today. If you are new here, you are in for an absolute treat with the archive of demos I've got for you. So I've got over 200 tutorials, yes, that's right, 200 tutorials up on my website called the Knit Academy if you are looking to learn the more technical aspects of knitwear. So we add demos every single month on there to help you out with learning more about knit, and the information I've got up there is not available anywhere. So we've got pattern cutting, we've got technical packs, we've got linking, we've got a whole archive of swatches to help you get started on your journey. So we've got a lot of beginners guides as well. So make sure that you go check it out. And finally, make sure you subscribe to this channel and show your support. Other than that, enjoy knitting. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am so excited to have you here with me today. This week's demo is taking partial knitting a little bit further, and we're going to be using that rule that we covered last week and apply it to one of the techniques within partial knitting. So we're going to be working with pockets, but we're going to create a beautiful gathered fabric or swatch in this demo. So I would really recommend first understanding that rule that I've taught you from the previous demo, which is linked in the description, and then moving on to today's demo, just so it helps you understand how the rule works within knitting today. So I really hope you enjoy this technique because there's so much you can do, so much you can do with partial knitting, and it's a lot of fun once you understand what you're doing. So I've mentioned all the changes towards the end of the demo. Do make sure that you actually play around and experiment and just have some fun with knitting. Anyway, so if you haven't already done so, make sure you subscribe to my channel, and also give me a little follow on Instagram because I tend to post a lot on there and I don't really post everything on YouTube. There's a lot of behind the scenes and new swatches that I'm actually launching on the Knit Academy. All of that is on Instagram, so just do go check it out really. Other than that, happy knitting. So we start off by casting on a few needles and knitting a few rows as always, and I'll be using just one colour to begin with, okay, which is going to be the green in soft cotton 4-ply, and the tension I'm using is 5. So the first thing we're going to have to do is move our holding cams onto hold position. So I am using the silver reed, so it goes from 2 to 1 on the left and right hand side of my carriage. If you are using Brother, it simply goes from N to H. Any other makes, just Google the information. Now, if you watched my partial knitting demo last week, you would have understood the rule, okay, which is the rule of opposites. So I'm not going to go too deep into that technique or the rule itself, but I will link the demo down in the description so you can actually have a look. I do recommend having a look at that demo because it will really help you understand how partial knitting works. Okay, so my carriage is currently on the right hand side. The first thing we're going to do is locate where we'd like our pocket to be. So for me, it's going to be on the center 10 needles. So everything on the left of those 10 needles is going to get pushed forward onto hold position, and I'm going to go ahead and knit across one row. Okay, now everything on the right hand side is going to get pushed forward onto hold, and I'm going to knit a number of rows, so you can pick whatever number you'd like to work with. So do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and 11. So now I'm going to push everything to the left of the pocket onto position C of my machine, so slightly over to the back where the stitches are just behind the latch. I'm going to knit across one row, and now my cams will go on to normal knit position and I knit another. Okay, so that's where my pocket is. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my pocket to another section. Okay, so I'm going to do another one, and this time I'm going to do it on the next 10 needles. So everything on the left of those 10 needles gets pushed forward,
cams back to hold position, knit 1, everything on the right of those 10 needles gets pushed forward and knit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, push the left section slightly over to the back, knit 1, back to normal knit position and knit. So you can see the pockets forming around here. Now I'm going to show you how to also change color. Okay, so we are going to go back to the center again. Everything to the left of the pocket needles gets pushed forward onto hold position, cams onto 1. Now because my carriage is on the right hand side, it has to be the left needles. Okay, and now I'm going to knit across 1 row. Everything on the right of those needles gets pushed forward. Now this is just one way of changing color, and you will notice that it goes all the way across the knit. Okay, now if you did not want it to go across the knit, you've got to change it at this point. Okay, so I will show you that also. Now you knit the required amount of rows. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Everything on the left of the pockets gets pushed forward slightly over to the back, knit 1, back to normal knit and knit. So you can see what I mean, that you'll get a pink stripe going all across. If you did not want that, I will show you what to do. Okay, so I've pushed my needles back forward, cams onto hold position. Now at this point, I am going to still stick with a pink yarn. Knit 1, everything on the right of that pocket gets pushed forward. Now at this point, you can change the color if you are not wanting that stripe. Okay, so I'm going to pick my second color, which is the green, and I'm going to knit required amount of rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. Now the one thing you've really got to make sure you do is when you change back to the original color, so color number 1, which is the pink for us, you will notice that it's still connected to that bottom here. Okay, so when you feed it back in, you've got to put it over these needles, so when it goes back, it will start with this edge working needle. If you leave it here, basically when you go back, it will create a float to connect back here. Okay, put it above, go back to the feeder, just watch out on that edge stitch. Okay, sometimes it just falls off. And before you knit, just make sure you push everything to the right of the pocket, slightly over to the back and knit. Now you can go back to normal knit. So now you will notice that the only thing that's in that green color is actually the pocket itself, as opposed to like striping across. So I would recommend going ahead and actually experimenting with 2 colors. So this is the outcome to the demo that we've just done, which is actually really interesting. I really love the 3D-ness to this swatch and just the organic nature. So of course you can make so many changes as usual. You don't need me to repeat that for you, but some of the changes that you can make is, of course, if you want to start really simple, just make the needle layout different. So just either decrease or increase the number of needles you use. Try playing around with the placement of these pockets as well, and it'll give you a completely different outcome. And finally, using different yarns. We of course use just cotton. Try elastic in there, try some sewing thread, try something a lot finer, try something a bit hairier. This would also be really well, this will also work really well with slightly more textured yarns, I think, because there's not much definition to the stitch here. It's mainly about the 3D-ness of a swatch, and that's where you've got the opportunity to use something a little bit more textured. So I really hope you enjoy this demo. I have linked the partial knitting demo below in the description if you want a better understanding of the rule of opposites, which is what we've covered within this technique as well. And if you haven't already done so, make sure you subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.